If I put a Q&A question on my story, this time I answer them with all the cool guys on the boat. Multiple 8-figure brands. Take advantage of it. Ask your questions while you can. In a year, it will be hundreds of questions. I won't be able to answer them all, so use it. So go follow me on Instagram and actually do that before it's too late. Let's get into that. All right, monthly Q&A section. First question. What do you think is the best cash flow business to start?
Agency, probably. Yeah, agency. Trading time for money. Like if you try to just make cash flow.
Jordan,
yes, man.
any advice on how to manage people in an agency?
Don't let me be your manager and hire somebody to implement processes if you've just got no experience in it, because it's better to just find out from other businesses what's working than just try and do it yourself.
Be really clear on what success looks like. Provide them with really measurable KPIs. Onboard them properly, so spend a lot of time with them in the first couple of weeks, and then also have like a set review schedule where you like sit down and review the performance against what you expect them to be doing.
Check out Olly's podcast as well. What is something you would have done differently selling your agency in the first place?
I think being super clear about what the end goal is. I sold my agency thinking that we were going to exit within a certain time frame, so making sure that's clear cut and sticking to it. If the goalpost changes, then you're never going to be happy.
So have like very clear terms, contractually.
Yeah. And if you're going to sell part of it and still be involved, obviously you need to know what you're involved for. I was involved for an exit, and like that's the end goal. So for me, it's like how soon and how quick that's going to happen. And if that goal keeps changing and changes from 3 to 5 years, then obviously it's not what I wanted initially. And then you get stuck into the same position for longer than you want.
Little underground Q&A session. It's about the value. Oh, also the angle is pretty sick. Everyone is just doing their thing. Let's go back here. They're already talking, so let's go to the next one. Oh, they're doing shots. Wait, let me get a live POV. This is kind of what has been happening in the past few days. There's motherfuckers getting drunk. There's motherfuckers having talks. See it up close. Fucking degenerates. We love it. How did you find your ecom journey when you started?
Where's the camera?
It's right there.
That's pretty good actually. How did I fund it?
When you started your first dropshipping stores?
With 50 quid from my part-time job.
So start dropshipping.
Yeah, basically.
What is the best way to find talent with a low budget?
I would say onlinejobs.ph. Definitely.
I'm also a big fan.
Yeah, the Filipinos. Yeah, they are incredible. You do need to sort out. Really sort out the weed, I would say. So really have a very good selection process and a very good hiring process in place. But there are very good Filipinos that are, especially if you compare it with like European, US people, way cheaper.
How do you distinguish the bad from the good Filipinos? Because there's also a lot that will like take advantage of you being remote and...
I would say the first thing is just having very clear who you are looking for and what the responsibilities of this person, as well as the requirements. So based on your responsibilities, have very clear KPIs so that you can actually measure their performance. And if they of course underperform or don't perform like you want based on a trackable KPI, then you don't want to continue with them. Yeah.
You quit the partnership.
Exactly.
Thank you. How to set business objectives and ensure the team is working towards them.
Have KPIs that all the team members are incentivized really well, so they feel like they're part of it.
Also with upside, based on aligned incentives, like bonuses.
So like, depending on what role it is, like there's obviously different KPIs, but that every role is somehow incentivized to like do the best. Other than just getting a monthly salary, just have potential to have potential to do more than just what they're gonna get anyway.
So really make it worth it for them to perform.
Basically, yeah.
And that can be with bonuses, but that could also be with other things, or that's mostly done with bonuses.
Yeah, and like free happy endings, I think is also good.
I would be motivated.
Yeah, right?
You should hire me.
Yeah.
It's where you guys are friends, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Boyan, since I'm allowed to be on your YouTube and take all of your viewers.
Okay.
Because I told them to quit watching your video. I still stand by that. Tell us what was your biggest obstacle in getting your agency from, let's say, like a few clients to like be like a solid business and be reliable instead of like having churn and then having no clients anymore?
Yeah, I think it's just like really important for either the founder or one of the co-founders or someone like that's a real like senior leader in the business and who's committed to really understand how to deliver a world-class service. It's just very hard to run the agency if you have high churn, because then you have to focus on acquiring, and then let's say if your churn is 10%, then that means the average client stays for 10 months. Then that means if you want to have 10 clients, you only need to acquire one client total a month, right? So if a client pays you 5K a month and you want to run a 50K agency, that means you just need to on average sign one client every single month. And after 10 months, you'll have a 50K agency.
Yeah.
But then if your churn is, let's say, 5 months, you have to sign 2 clients a month, which, you know, if you want to scale in the hundreds of thousands, then it becomes really tough. And then also, if you have a shit service, word of mouth doesn't help you, so you lose the pricing power. So instead of charging 5K, you could probably only charge, let's say 2, you know? And that really fucks you up over time. So focus on having a good product, just like in Ecom or in any business, and it will make sales like fucking easy.
It always comes down to products. Basically with any business that you do. It always comes down to
If you're doing courses, because it's a one-time transaction, then
yeah, you can just scam them.
basically, yeah, like
Just scam and bam, you disappear.
bam.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
These are 2 brothers that are building a brand together. We'll not mention the name, but what has your biggest lesson been going from 0 to 1 with the brand? Who wants to answer?
It's got to be product first, right? Because at the end of the day, if your product is shit, like no one's gonna buy it. And I think a lot of people, they start off just like testing products and testing different products, but I think it's a better idea to test desires and to tap into that core emotion. That's really the lesson that I think we learned the most. Keep it simple, stay consistent. That's it.
Again, this is an Ecom guys, agency, both say product. What is the crazy story you've seen or heard, you don't have to claim it, that happened like on like one of these yacht trips?
I don't know. I'll speak about this trip. With this trip, someone ran their phone out of battery, and because they went for dinner in Navarre, they didn't tell us. Their phone ran out of battery. We left them in Navarre, and then we cruised to the next island, and they were by themselves. They had to get the ferry.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty. You see how PC we are. So tell us one cool fact about this boat.
49 meters, 14 cabins, 28 guests. Crew are amazing.
Yeah, it's sick. Thank you for organizing. Let me move. There are some more questions I want to answer with you right here. Windy, how did you fund your Ecom journey at the start? You can go back to my first videos. I was running a TikTok organic agency, helping people with creating TikToks and Instagrams and all of that shit. I hated it actually, but for about the first year since starting the videos, so the first full year of me making these videos, I was doing the agency, trying to make my brand work. At the height, I had made like 8K a month of my agency or some shit like that. I used that to fund my brand and my travels until I started to learn about how to actually run ads and make my brand work. And then I quit my agency about a year into making the videos, and since then I've just been doing the brand. Oh, the power just cut. This guy is saying, last time I asked the question, I listened and took the risk. This Q4 is looking real good. Thank you, man. Dude, that's sick. Only thing I can ask is send these videos to your friends and tell them to ask questions. How are you calculating the price that you are paying for influencer collabs? I'm currently not paying influencer collabs. I'm working on micro-influencer seeding, sending out free gifts for influencers. I've never really gotten into paying big influencers for collabs. I think influencer collabs can work if there is a bit more thought into the collab than just paying an influencer for an Instagram post or a story. I don't think that's very relevant anymore, and I think you should think a bit more about it. What are their thoughts on PR for brands? Does it help conversion rate in the long term? I'll ask someone here that actually has a big brand. Let's see. Hugo, you want to answer a question about Founders Capital? Oh. All right, Hugo is part of the organizers with Matt. I came here because of Matt, and then I met Hugo. So tell us about Founders Capital.
So we are a community for founders.
Hold it.
We are about 1,200 founders who have either exited their businesses or are coming close to it. And we allow them to get together, learn from each other, but then also invest in epic late stage and pre-IPO businesses. And yeah, we've done about 30 deals so far, deployed about 20 million this year. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
So this is the first yacht trip you did, right? Yeah. What is like the main takeaway? Would you do something different?
Of course, you have loads of little learnings along the way, but the main thing, I've taken away is my thesis of going into this trip was that getting together a bunch of like-minded people, putting them in effectively a confined space for a few days, magic is going to happen. You're going to have deals being done, investments being made, partnerships and just ideas coming off the back of it. And that's exactly what's happened. And, that makes me so happy to have been a part of making that happen. So, yeah, onwards and upwards to, Yacht Trip 2025.
I really like it. In the future, I'll do something similar of these videos.
I love it.
I really like it. I think I like the unstructuredness as well. Everyone is loose. It's not so serious. But then you're also talking about serious things, and some people are drinking, and I really enjoyed that. What is the coolest business you've invested in your opinion?
Well, it's tough. We've invested in some absolutely incredible AI businesses recently. Like we're invested in OpenAI and Perplexity and even Claude, who's owned by Anthropic. But I don't know. I think maybe the coolest one is a company called Vada. They're currently making medicine, but they're making it in space. So they figured out a way of making medicine in microgravity, which means that they can suspend the molecules. And because there's no gravity, the molecules can be made much bigger. They don't collapse, and you're able to unlock new treatments for cancer. And it's really exciting space. Also just super cool. The idea that you can make medicine in space, manufacture things in space, and it's economical as well. That's a pretty interesting one.
Last question. You exited a business, right, yourself? What was your biggest learning in hindsight? Let's say I'm going into next year, I want to exit my business. What would you recommend me?
Yeah, I think I made a mistake of keeping two different projects, which were very distinct projects, in the same limited company. In the UK, it's costs about £20 to set up a new business. I definitely recommend at the very start of a project, keep every single thing in a different limited company. Because when we tried to exit it, we had to do this very complicated split. Some investors wanted to do it and some didn't. Created a lot more friction than was needed. I definitely keep the different projects very separate. And then I guess also, it worked very well for me. I made friends and spent a lot of time with all of my competitors. I know, a lot of people would think you want to be away from the competitors and treat them as an enemy. But actually, I kind of leaned in. I went for coffee with them, once every 6 months. And then when we went to try and sell the business, I was able to just WhatsApp them and say, do you want to have a conversation? And then, one of them ended up buying it. So it's quite a good strategy.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like the seeds you planted early.
Yeah, exactly. And then, if something goes wrong in their business as well, you can buy them. So it kind of works both ways.
That's cool. Well, thank you for organizing this trip.
Yeah, nice one.
And thank you for answering some questions. All right, I think that is all the questions. I want to ask the PR question because I appreciate you guys asking questions, so I want to answer absolutely all of them. In the future, take fucking advantage while you can, motherfucker. Ungrateful. Look at these motherfuckers, multiple 8-figure brands. Take advantage of it. Ask your questions while you can. In a year, it will be hundreds of questions. I won't be able to answer them all, so use it. Not me, mine might be interesting to answer them in a few years, but right now, use this shit, bro. Can I ask you one more question? Some guy asked, what is your thoughts on PR for brand, and is it worth it, short term and long term?
I think it's hard to apply a universal to that. I think it depends what niche you're in. If performance PR can work really well, but I think it's a case of what stage you're at. If you're under $1 million a month, you should focus more time on just meta ads, creative, and keep things simple. I think as a brand owner, you can start seeing more channels and more things to do. To do PR really well, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of resource. And to do TikTok really well, it takes a lot of time, resource. And most of the time you should focus on just doing what's already working even better than it is right now. PR is not going to be like a magic bullet. If you can get some really good publications and then you can bring the PR into your creative, so we run a lot of PR ads, you can bring it into the strategy so it works really well, but I don't think it's going to it won't drive as much new customer scale or revenue. It's just like focusing more on the core acquisition channels.
Thank you, bro. All right, there you go. You see all questions answered. Again, every month we'll do this little Q&A section. Make sure to use it because there's a lot of people that want to answer your questions. So that's it for, this is a very risky business right here. This is super risky business. But yeah, use it every month. Follow me on Instagram. Ask your questions. I put a little poll there. I try to answer them with my friends who have built way bigger businesses. I'm scared it's going to fall overboard. So use it. And yeah, thank you.